Another great episode of Chasing Liberty with Jake, teamed up with Looking Forward with Jess. Thank you for joining us here today on this blustery, windy, rainy, kind of crappy day here. Tuned in. We got lots of good stuff to talk about. One of the first things that I'd like to talk about here tonight, the signature contest that we just won. It was pretty intense. So, running for United States Congress, Libertarian Party ticket. Very honored to do so. It's been quite an adventure. And in order to run for United States Congress, you have to turn in 1,000 signatures. I successfully turned in 1,200 signatures on the head. And the WEC, the Wisconsin Elections Commission, actually accepted 1,073 signatures, granting me ballot access. So my name can actually be listed on the ballot. Now, these signatures needed to be turned in by, I believe, June 1st at 4 p.m. And now, after that deadline, anybody in the state of Wisconsin can actually contest those signatures for their validity, whether they are within the district or whatever. There's a multitude of reasons that they can be contested. So there's a window to be able to contest that, which ended on June 6th at 4:30. And the Republican Party of Wisconsin, a Mr. Jordan Malvitz, decided to contest my signatures, almost 200 of them, and took over a week to put together a 115-page complaint. Now, per the WEC rules, we get a grand total of three days to file a response. Now, keep in mind, these guys knew what they were doing. This was all just a game. Just a game. There's usually no way whatsoever that a third party candidate has the resources to actually put together a formal legal response to 115 pages while still having a full time job and all the other good jazz.
So
And we
just
did
to
it.
clarify, just to
Yeah,
clarify, they're going after 200 of your signatures to put you below the limit and gave you 3 days to respond
correct. Yeah,
out of
3 days,
150 pages. Okay, carry on,
115 pages.
carry on.
So I reached out to my good friend, Mr. Nick Flatley, attorney, who did an absolutely remarkable job putting this together. He headed up this whole project along with actually our national chairman, Angela McCardle, and chief legal counsel, Oliver Hall, along with a multitude of others that came through and put together a 118-page response and asked the Wisconsin Elections Commission to fine the Republican Party of Wisconsin for frivolousness.
So really quick, how much did the GOP party pay this? What was his name? Pay him?
Jordan Malvitz, there was a payment
Yeah,
that went to Jordan Malvitz for almost
yeah.
$15,000.
So they
No, I
paid
don't
him
know if
50.
15,000. Now I don't know if that was specifically for that, but he's on their regular payroll, and then all of a sudden there's this big lump sum that went to him. Pretty confident that was for other legal assistance to be able to put this together. Can't confirm, but you know what? At the end of the day, we showed up, and we showed up to play, and we won. We're back on the ballot. We had 1,027 signatures approved by the WEC. Now we're getting ready for the next fight and the next victory, which will be Tuesday, November 8th.
So they paid $15,000 to try to get your name off the ballot, and there's no Democrat running up in your area, right?
There's not. There's no
So
Democrat.
they dropped $15,000 to try to get the only other person off the ballot, so they had a better chance at winning. That's
Yeah.
what I see out of it.
It's all trickery. It's all a game. Which
Yeah.
means, guess what? It means they're scared. And I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. You know,
So
it says a lot if they're going through that level of effort to try to contest. We had other libertarians within the Libertarian Party were contested and did get booted off, which is definitely a heartbreaker.
switch that around.
Oh,
There you
oh,
go. I'm playing around with screens. That's me. That's all me.
it's not the weather, but I can tell you right now it got real dark.
There's
We
some
got
tornadoes down. There were some
Is there?
tornadoes down our way.
Is there?
Yeah, there was. There was a couple.
Ooh, it is. It's dark out. It's kind of freaky looking, but that's okay.
That makes it fun. It was uneventful when it passed through Spring Green. I'm sure other areas were not so lucky.
I've been watching. I haven't seen a whole lot. I know that there's some storm chasers running around right now, but I just don't want my greenhouses to blow away. Save the greenhouses. I don't anything else. It's fine. If the big tree, if the big cottonwood's got to fall on the roof, I'm fine with that too. Okay, we need a new roof anyways.
You got insurance, right?
Oh yeah, oh
There
yeah.
you go. Yeah.
It's just hard to try to put plastic back on a greenhouse when it's filled with tomatoes.
So when your tree falls on it, just make sure you hide all your chainsaw marks that you cut in it to get it to fall on your house. Okay, that might be a dead giveaway when they go to check it out.
It was an angry beaver, I promise.
You're right. So tonight, a lot of stuff has been going on about gun violence lately. So I figured we'd talk a little bit about that,
Yeah.
and then just break into some breaking news because those are fun, anyways.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so you're on the ballot. Really quick though, you're on the ballot. What do you got coming up? Do you got some stuff coming, events, things like that?
Actually, the next thing on the docket won't be until July. We've
Okay.
got about a 9-member team right now for the campaign team, and we're making sure that we're getting T's and I's crossed, vice versa. T's crossed, I's dotted. There's a dyslexia.
I liked it better the other way.
I'll go with it. I'll go with it. You guys
Yeah.
knew what I was talking about. But we're getting all the groundwork set so that when we come launching out, we can be fully effective with the events that we're actually moving forward to complete. We're going to hit up some parades here for the 4th of July. We're starting to organize some fundraisers. We're getting some stuff together. And I'm very, very excited. And to see the dedication from the team that I've got put together here is absolutely remarkable. You want to talk about a humbling experience, having this many people surrounding you that believe in you is truly, truly outstanding. So, Dark Sage 99117 has a question. Go ahead and shoot it off, bud.
Oh, there we go.
Excellent, excellent.
Oh, wait, you can have the one from Rustin. Yeah, can't prove we got the signatures from people. The whole signature process is foobar from the beginning. If you are, here's my take on it. If you're the damn Libertarian Party, okay, Libertarian Party, the Green Party, those are your two big ones in Wisconsin, other than Democrats and Republicans. Let them on the ballot. What does it freaking matter? If you have 5 people, right, the Fab Five, if you have 5 people on there, let them get on there, let them debate, let people pick the best one for it. Yeah,
So the,
they're
the
not
way
letting that
that they actually do it in, so when I was out in National, I found myself up on the 29th floor of the Nugget, which is pretty freaking cool up in the penthouse. I had a tremendous time with Nick Sarwark and met some tremendous people out there. But I met a gentleman out there from Colorado. Ballot access in Colorado, super simple, super simple. If your party maintains, I believe it was 300 members, okay, you nominate your candidates, they're automatically on the ballot. There's no signatures,
Yep.
okay? That's it. That's done. That's ballot access, okay? All these hoops that we have to jump through, this is set up in order to make it difficult for guys like me and any other third party candidate or grassroots candidates trying to run. I work a full-time job. Okay. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday and I have 37 hours worth of work in. Okay. Try accomplishing that and getting signatures and still trying to be a father and a husband. Okay. It's a lot of work. Okay. And it should not be like that.
Yep.
Okay. If you want to run, I really like the way that Colorado did it, and I am going to move forward as the chairman of Wisconsin to try to actually start working on some legislation here in Wisconsin to try to get that done, so we don't have to jump through hoops of fire to get signatures anymore. And that's for both for the Libertarian Party and the major parties as well. I'm sure they're done getting signatures. It's a pain in the ass.
You're
But what
gonna
I
like. Oh, go ahead.
but what I've seen happen here is the major parties actually use the WEC to push around and bully third-party candidates.
Who made the WEC? They did.
Who did put that together? They did make that. Yeah.
They did. It was the GAB from 2008 to 2016, the Government Accountability Board.
Ooh.
So there was all those conspiracy charges at the beginning of 2000. Using taxpayer money to to run their campaigns. So they made the Government Accountability Board. And then in 2016, well, a little bit earlier than that, they got tired of being caught. So they got rid of the Government Accountability Board and brought back the WEC. Now, the WEC, you still have your president with it, but there's 3 elections from each party for the chairman of the WECs.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats have 3 of them, and the Republicans have 3 of them. They know exactly what the WEC is. So they talk about how messed up it is for the voter registry and all that other stuff. They created this problem. They know what the problem is. So you're reading it. You're gonna go for it.
Let me see here. It said, I am curious, how do you plan to reach out to disillusioned Democrats like me who may not agree with everything you stand for but are willing to listen? How the Libertarian Party reach out to people like me? We're trying to reach out to everybody. Okay, that's a struggle that we have, reaching the masses in its entirety. So I mean, I've set up several speaking events and have promoted across social media. And I've gone door to door and to try to get people to show up to these speaking events to have conversations, and few people have showed up, which is why we do this podcast now. We seem to be able to reach more people um, via these podcasts and social media than what we do setting up speaking events. So we personally, I want to reach out to everybody, and that takes donations so that we can get out mailers. It takes volunteers so we can knock on doors. And the more support that we have from the volunteer base, the more the masses that we're going to be able to reach. And the beautiful part with the Libertarian Party is I can agree with just about everybody on every topic that they want to do, as long as they don't force it on anybody, and as long as everybody has consent. That's the beautiful part. We protect self governance. So,
One of the things I learned as an independent is that people are angry, people are frustrated,
oh yeah,
and they want change. So Democrats and Republicans, they're fed up, they're tired, they're
what?
frustrated with both sides not doing a damn thing for them. So people are starting to look out to more of those third parties and independents, and there's a change coming. There is truly a change coming. I did have a lot of support. I knew I wasn't going to win, so that's why I got out. But people are angry, and that anger and that pessimism is going out there and it's spreading. And that's why more people are looking to that. So there's more confidence when you start going that direction. So when you start looking at the congressional race, like for Jake up in the 8th, there's no Democrat running. So it's a libertarian against a Republican. That's going to be a great battle. You really want to watch that. You really want to check that out, because that's mano a mano. That's not a Democrat getting in the way, stealing votes. That's not a Republican getting in the way. So, well, if it was vice versa,
Yeah.
it's 2 people going at it, and this is where a third party can shine. So I'm actually excited to see how this is going to turn out. So,
Me
yeah,
too. I've already got my desk chair picked up for Washington, so it's gonna be pretty interesting. We
yep.
got the same question here. Same individual said, "Are you willing, as a candidate, to hear all sides of the issues, even if you disagree with them? Are you perhaps willing to take a stance on issues that Democrats like me may support, but you may not? Do you feel that the compromise with the people have different values and ideas is important?" That's the beautiful part about the Libertarian Party is I feel that everybody's values are important. Okay, when we focus on self governance, local legislation, we can have customized government for within your communities where your ideas and your belief systems are supported. Okay, when we try to push legislation from the top down, from the federal level, that's what puts us in this battle. So now we've got right versus left that keeps battling it back and forth. Well, how about we scratch that whole battle? Okay, we put the wealth and prosperity of this nation back in the hands of the people. Okay, and what you choose to do within your community, that's what you choose to do within your community, and that's as far as education, that's as far as retirement, as far as literally everything, the policing, the protection of schools, all of that can be done within our own communities. It doesn't have to come from the top down. When it does come from the top down, that's when we have to fight, and they want us to fight each other. So instead of us actually sitting down, having a conversation, finding actual resolutions for what works best for our communities, our government forces us to fight this right versus left battle, and it's tearing the country apart. Okay, I want to listen to everybody's issues, and I do. When I sit and I listen to people, I've talked with people from the Democratic side, I've talked with people from the Republican side, I've talked to the independents. Okay, that's one of the most powerful tools that I have are my ears. Shut my mouth and listen for a minute. And when you actually, seriously, it really is. Okay, so a lot of politicians will get up on a stump and they'll start preaching their preach. I like to just shut my mouth and listen to people. Okay, because more often than not, people are saying the same thing. So across the board, think of it this way: across the board, okay, everybody wants the best schools. Okay, everyone wants to make sure that their teachers are paid well. Everyone wants to have high quality, low cost health insurance. Everyone wants to make sure that our communities are safe. We want to make sure that we don't have any foreign invaders. We want to make sure that when we get into our golden years, that we're not having to work until the day that we die, and we can actually relax and enjoy life a little bit. Okay, this is all stuff that we all agree on. Okay,
So I
we
I gotta hop in
disagree on
there.
how to get there. Hit me
I
with
gotta
it.
hop in there
Hit me with
because
it.
people talk about listening, and then people talk about my politicians aren't listening. But you know what? The solutions are out there, and that's why I started up the Win Network.win, because all these organizations are already out there that have solutions. The problem is the little savages that are up there that are already in office aren't doing a damn thing. They're not following through with what we are asking of them. Look at pick an issue. It doesn't really matter what it is. If it's public education, gun reform, whatever. Everybody, there's so many solutions out there, and nobody's doing a damn thing about any of it. The water. Look at the water up by you, up in Kewaunee County.
Yep.
Disgusting. People are not going to be able to drink water there for decades. But yet, what's being done about it? Not a goddamn thing. That's what people are pissed off about. And
And
it's
that's
not so much.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's just that the government continues to prove itself over and over and over again to be an inadequate tool for those resolutions.
Yeah.
Okay. When I say it comes back to falling back onto the people, we can figure this out. Okay. The government is not the result. The government more often, a government solution more often than not, is worse than the problem itself. Okay. It gets wrapped into bureaucracy, and you have experts who aren't really that experty trying to solve problems. Okay, if there's anything whatsoever that 2020 has taught us with the pandemic and what we're seeing right now with the inflation and the government control of our dollar, and the government is not a solution. They can't fix stuff. The government was put in place to defend liberty from the federal government was put in place to defend our individual rights from the encroachment of a state government. If we can
I think
pool
they
our
could.
resources, what's that?
I think they could. I just think they're reactive.
They are reactive. Absolutely. And this is where, when the libertarian talks about building communities, this is what we're talking about. Okay, any and all issues that we need to solve, we can solve here with our own communities. Whether it's hunger, whether it comes to the coronavirus, we can handle this stuff ourselves. Okay, we don't need big daddy government, top down situations to tell us what we need to do. Okay, if you believe that the government is resolved, now you're counting on corrupt bureaucrats. They have proven that they are filled with corruption over and over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? If our government was filled with benevolent and virtuous individuals, we'd be having a different conversation. But they're not benevolent, they're not virtuous, they're out for themselves. So even if we do pass a tremendously good program that would have awesome impacts within our communities, that corruption and that bureaucracy is going to destroy it and rob we the people every single time without fail. Okay,
Yeah.
good ideas are destroyed by our bureaucracy and our government. Okay, it's not that, and I understand these programs are intended to be able to help people. I want to help people too. That's why I've got my farm. But instead of counting on the government to do so, I'm simply going to do it. I'm going to handle it.
Every time I ask those words and why shit wasn't getting done, and why problems were still there, my three words. If you've never heard it before, it's follow the money. You follow those three words. That's how you get answers to shit. Hey, we could go off for like a long time. We're already 20 minutes in. We haven't even got into the gun control stuff. I know. I'm so sorry. Hey, I want to say a quick shout out. My wife has been in Arizona for about 2 weeks. She was down there. I want to do a show on this coming up. She went down there. Turns out the care facility that was taking care of her grandma was stealing lots of money. Shit ton.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So my wife is down there right now. Got my grandma or got her grandma out. She's safe. She's good. We're gonna take care of her. Moving back up here to Wisconsin. Oh god, it's just been a freaking nightmare. We'll do a show on it when she's back here, and we'll get her on for that.
That's
What she had to go
crazy.
through. What she had to go through to do some of this stuff. What really pissed me off, really quick. I'm so sorry. Really pissed me off is the cops know about organizations that are doing this stuff down there, and they're thinking these care facilities are just ATMs for these people. And the county, we turned them into the county like, oh yeah, we got another one. Bank of America was some of the stuff. They're like, there's whole organizations dedicated just for this fraud stuff. And she tried to reach out to investigative reporters. They won't really touch it. Interesting, when we reached out to the lawyers to start going after these people, the lawyer said, if you get an investigative reporter to report on this, on stealing money from the elderly, you contact me and you give me their names, because he's been trying to do it for years. Therein lies a problem where we know that people are stealing from other people, like the elderly, and nothing's getting done about it. Pisses me off. So we want to talk about things that aren't getting done, that should be getting done. Where's the protection for that?
And that's you can apply that same logic across almost the entire government. When's the last time we saw any politician held accountable for violating the Constitution or violating the law?
I know.
No one's ever held accountable.
No.
Once in a blue moon, you'll see someone get a slap on the hand, but otherwise, no one's held accountable.
Nope. All right, buddy. I'll run through some statistics here for some gun violence, okay?
Let's do it.
All over the news. Of course, there's always a mass shootings going on. Mass shootings like 4 or more people. It's kind of disgusting. So, of course, Uvalde was the last one. Here's the deal. Roughly 45,000 deaths from a gun happened in 2020. So 24,000 of those 45,000 were suicides. The United States is the only country in the world to count suicides as a death by a gun. Interesting. Which is usually about 55 to 59, by the way. So if you're in that range, that's the highest suicide range. I thought that was interesting. Anyways, so 45,000 deaths, 24,000 were suicides. You've got about 600 accidental deaths. You've got about 500 deaths from self-defense. There's some in there from the law enforcement. So it leaves about 20,000 deaths by a gun. Okay. Out of those 20,000, 90% of those are from handguns. Okay. And if you start looking at that of those areas that are like that, it's Chicago. You've got a 20-block radius. You've got Milwaukee. You've got bad areas over there. Racine's got some other bad areas. Follow them around. It's your poor schools, no jobs, your crimes, your gangs, your drugs. Those type of environments are the ones where your deaths are highest, and those are coming from the handguns. And 86% of those are males, which I thought was interesting. The highest number of your homicides that are happening is between the ages of 20 and 24. Okay, so now we have 20,000 deaths across America, and a lot of them are coming from handguns. So when we start getting into this gun control, now I did do some research on what was happening right now for the gun control that's in our Senate and House, and they're going after some interesting things, which I kind of like some of this stuff. I'll get into that here in a second, but the mass shootings. Here, I want to bring something up here really quick. So here are the gun deaths. Look at what we've done since 2014 to 2021. They are on the rise. They're growing. It's coming up. So obviously we're getting worse in our crime. And we're just talking about that. What's being done about it? Nothing's being done about it, right? So what can we do? We're looking at the homicide rate. So I broke down Wisconsin as well, and I'll show you guys this in another thing here. The blue line is the national case. So Wisconsin is just about in line with the national case. We're not really breaking away or anything. There's a little blip here in 2015, but we're still a little bit under. Um, Still fine there, and I won't go into the other data. But let's see here. Here's Wisconsin. Gun deaths by intent. 68% of gun deaths in Wisconsin are from suicide. Okay, that's a scary number. 68% of them. Okay, if we can help out with that. So gun deaths over time in Wisconsin. Oh, I zoomed in too close. Oh, I screwed it all up now. It'll come back. The rate of gun deaths has increased by 59%. 59% from 2011 to 2020. Okay, that's a 33% increase. That's insane. So we're getting more guns, more deaths here in Wisconsin, and now we're getting more suicides. We know our mass shootings are on the rise. So where are we at with mental health? And where are we at with some of that protection? Where are we at in researching any of that?
That's we don't want to talk about that because that would actually. But here's the way that I view the guns. It's used as a battering ram because if you try to stand against gun legislation, you're automatically for the people that are mass shooting, which is not the case. Okay, we need to have an honest conversation about mental health in this country, and this that's where the actual resolve lies. You could pass all the gun legislation you want in the world. That's not going to do anything to fix the mental health of the country, which is slipping drastically.
Um, Definitely would never agree with that or disagree with that. Our mental health is broke. Um,
Big time.
yeah. When we talk about mental health here in Wisconsin, there's I don't know if I should say it or not, but I'm going to. There's some UW Madison students that are just graduating, and they're for mental health. Here's the thing: they went out to try to get licenses, but they couldn't get the licenses. The state was not ready. DSPS could not accept them. So you have all these students that are just graduating that can do mental health care that aren't able to get into the industry. So then, once DSPS got up and running, so they're already months behind. So once they got up, they applied for some of these positions. They were so messed up. Some of them had to go into the office, wait for hours just to get it taken care of on what the problem was. It was mostly data entry when they were put into the system. It was just put in wrong. And so now these people are finally able to start taking tests to be able to get certified through the state. They're graduating. We have oh geez, out of the 72 counties, I think there's 20 counties that don't even have any professional mental health nurse practitioners. Don't have any of that stuff, and now we have problems of people not even able to get licenses to help in that industry. Where's the solution?
The solution. I understand the whole purpose of getting a license is through the government is to be able to provide some level of protection. And I keep reverting back to the model of the Better Business Bureau. Okay, that is not affiliated with the government. And to be affiliated with the Better Business Bureau, there's certain requirements that you must meet. So there are private enterprises that would at least provide to you as a consumer a specific grade or a certain level of protection to the mental health provider that you would like to go and seek. But at the end of the day, when it comes to actually taking care of some mental health, um, we can just lend a listening ear from time to time. Okay, there's a lot of time with people that are depression and anxiety that if you just, like I said before, stop talking and listen for a little bit and love thy neighbor, uh, you can definitely cross some bridges and help people. You don't always have to be a doctor. Do we need medical professionals? Absolutely. But this is another case in point to where the government is actually hindering the process and hindering the avenue of getting there to the resolve than it is anything else. So if there's a way we can streamline that process or get it to actually be effective would be wonderful. Because we need a lot of it. We need a lot of mental health support. This is what I do with here on my farm. We still have 20 veterans a day that commit suicide. A lot of them with guns. That's something that's very, very close to me, and we're not doing a very good job with that. And we're not sitting down and having an honest conversation. Just like you were saying, what's the holdup? Why is it a holdup? Do we need more resources there? What needs to happen?
So when you make it into District 8, you're going to hire my dumbass to work for the state so I can make a program to write it so everybody that graduates is already in the system. They can log on, set up, they have an account, and boom, they can take their test.
Done.
And because if we can start getting more people that are graduating from this state to work in this state, that's ideal because we don't want them people to go to the other states. The best time to get professional mental health nurse practitioners is from within, from Wisconsin.
I'd be curious to know how many are graduating from that field, from Wisconsin.
I will get that for you on the next episode. I actually have those numbers.
Excellent. Out of pure curiosity, and then I'm sure we could double down because we'll need it.
Yeah. Those numbers are out there, and there's actually a very high percentage for the people that are graduating in Wisconsin to stay in Wisconsin. Not as many people go out to other states, but if we keep giving them reasons to not give them jobs, of course they're going to go to other states. So you got to give them reasons and make a streamline for them to stay here. So when we get into, I know more gun stuff. When we get into mass shootings, I started looking at it. So in 2010, there was 513 deaths and over 2,500 injured. In 2021, it increased. There were 704 deaths and over 2,800 injured. In 2022 already, we're at 303 with over 1,140 injured. It's increasing. One of the things that upset me about Uvalde is they couple things. Number one, they lied about this school resource officer that they said was on the location but wasn't. Okay. They originally said that this resource officer caught this perpetrator before he even went in. They exchanged gunfire, but then they didn't. They just had a conversation. Turns out the resource officer wasn't even there. Number one. The second one that really upset me is it took them an hour and 20 minutes to break in to the classroom that this person was in that had the gun. An hour and 20 minutes. Interesting, there's a lady named Angeli Gomez. Amazing lady. She worked 40 miles away. She heard about the shooting. She drove back to the school, wanted to get in. She was thrown in handcuffs. Bitch screamed so much that she was able to get out of the handcuffs. They let her out. And then she took off for the school. She went in. She rescued her two kids plus another kid that was friends of them and got them out of the school. That she lived that far away and she rescued kids after she was put in handcuffs. They were tasing parents. They were macing parents.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Border Patrol, I don't know. The Border Patrol is the only people that went in there. That was a horrible, horrible reaction to a school shooting. People were pissed off because Columbine waited 20 minutes.
I don't remember what Supreme Court decision it was, but the police have absolutely no constitutional requirement to actually protect you. They don't have to go in.
Right.
If they just say no, guess what? It's not happening.
It's
It
really
takes
like-
a rare it takes a rare breed of person. It takes a rare breed of person to step in a line of fire.
Yeah.
Period.
I know what you're talking about. It was right around 2008, 2010-ish or something like that.
And
Yeah.
I don't know remember the Supreme Court decision, but there was a Supreme Court decision that said police officers have no constitutional. Ooh, that was a big thunder boomer.
I can hear that wind over here, buddy.
Yeah, it's that was a big thunder. That was a lot of thunder.
Oh, there's thunder.
Yeah, at least the wind stopped. Oof.
So Oh, really quick, that Uvalde one, that was horrible. I think what happened in the reaction. Now, also in Texas, Duncanville, over in Texas, somebody just brought a handgun into a like a summer camp. This person entered this facility. I just got it on my phone today. Entered this facility, was shot in the lobby. Didn't hurt anybody, didn't get anybody, but he tried to go into the class where the kids were, but it was locked. He tried to go into the gym. The police were there in 2 minutes. When they heard about it, they entered right away, and they ended up shooting this guy. That's awesome. That's a great response. Yes, exactly.
But
So
in regards to the protection for our schools, okay, everyone wants a one-stop shop resolve. That's not the case. So when I speak a lot about customized government and localized legislation, it's because the security that is needed in our schools here in Southern Dora, Wisconsin, happens to be different than the security that is needed in downtown Chicago, which is different than, say, Boulder, Colorado, which is different than Alaska, which is different than Honolulu, Hawaii. We need to have school boards and parents working directly with local law enforcement to provide an actual protection plan if this happens. Okay, there's things that we can do. We can have school resource officers that are there and armed. Maybe more than one is needed. I don't know. That's a decision for the parents to be able to come up with. Okay, you can actually have all the doors locked. Okay, single point of entry. Okay, you can't enter the school anywhere else except the front door. You have to go past the office. You have to go past that school resource officer. If you need to get out, that's different. In case of fire, you can get out of the doors. You just can't get into any of the doors. So there's a multitude of things that we can do to help better protect our schools, none of which, none of which comes from the federal government. Okay, solutions come from local communities.
a lot. Well, federal government, they are supporting a lot of that stuff. You can get a lot of money for that. There's a lot of security things that schools can get money for from state and federal for exactly what you were just talking about. So yeah, a lot of things are to be done there. So that's great. You're right onto it.
So when I say that we can work with that in our local communities, I'm assuming that our government hasn't inflated our dollar by 96% and also isn't robbing us of 40% of our income, and we already have the resources to be able to handle this locally.
There you go.
Okay, so I
There
could
you go.
probably I could probably start off with that. I mean, so what we see right now is so much of our money is being robbed, and our government's control of the money has inflated our dollar to the point to where we don't have the resources to do it, and we have the trickle down economics where we have to count on the federal government to be able to do stuff, and that's a very very scary position to be in, because these guys are not the cream of the crop. They're not the smartest in the country. They happen to be the best fundraisers. Okay, those with the best message aren't the ones that are getting elected. Those that are the best fundraisers, they're the ones that are getting elected. Okay, so that puts us in an even scarier position when they start actually writing legislation because, again, they're fundraisers. They don't have the best policies, they don't have the best solutions. If we, the people, are left up to our own devices, actually left free, okay, we can come up with the solutions to protect our schools no matter how that school is designed. And we can actually provide a better education as well. That's the
Well, it
whole idea.
I think it was over in Sun Prairie or DeForest over in that area. Maybe it's Columbus. They got a 21-year-old Republican that got in on a special election. 21-year-old. He obviously doesn't know what's going on. Maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe he's a great person. Maybe he's got the best drive in the world. You betcha. But when he gets in there, he's not going to know what the hell's going on. He
Is
was
this
elected because of the R that was behind that name.
is this for school board?
No, this is a representative. I think it was one of the House. I can look him up here and find
Really?
out. Yeah, and he ran under a special election, got in. He was not the right person to represent people. Maybe a good person, maybe, but definitely not the person. Hey, really quick, the Uvalde guy. I know this is the Texas shooting. Interestingly, about this guy, okay, he posted and users turned him in online. He had said everyone in the world deserves to get raped. Okay, he was streaming on a service called Yubo. It was a online streaming service for gaming, and he was streaming on there talking about a school shooting. He was turned in. Okay, he's got all these pictures online of all these guns and making people famous if they follow him. All these things that this guy has on his social media account, and nothing happened. But yet, but yet, people can get blocked for saying "Let's go, Brandon," or going after COVID stuff. Herein lies a problem. Our social media people need to be held accountable for some of this stuff. They're letting this go.
Mm-hmm.
They need to go
100%
after.
agreed.
I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel. I know that's regulation, but fuck it.
We used to have communities and social structures. So if there was an individual that was struggling, uh, there was help available. I do remember reading an article at one point in time where he was actually walking around with several beaten, bloody cats in a bag. I mean, what was there nobody that said, you know what, maybe you should go talk with somebody? Even his own family didn't even do that.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to the breakdown of the social fabric of this country, this is the stuff that we're talking about. We used to have close, tight knit communities that if these situations were happening, those individuals would be seeking help, would have be forced to get help. Okay, we used to have. Um, I'm drawing a blank right now. Involuntary commitment. There's the word. We used to have involuntary commitment. I mean, if you're walking around your town and you're showing off a bag of bloody beaten cats, well, I mean, maybe you should go and talk with somebody for a little bit. Okay, if you're so blasting on social media that you're going to be shooting up school, maybe you should be talking to a professional for a little bit. I don't. It terrifies me giving the government that level of authority because it can be used back against us. But we as communities need to be able to come together and identify individuals that need help and say, hey, let's get you some help. Okay, if it's
Well,
coming from within our communities and we can guide them to some professional services that are within our communities to get the help, that's a solid step.
I think that would be great. I think those communities and those people are there, but I don't think there's anything past that. I don't know how much support there is that when somebody turns it in and says, "Hey, this person is carrying bags of cats around," they're not good for our society. Like, what's happening past that point? I think there's great people out there, but where is the support to protect them from, when they say that, when they turn somebody in? I don't think that part's there. That's what I'm scared about.
I understand, and that's the thing. So we are on a path right now to actually providing solutions and coming up with something that works within communities. And you're not going to find that coming from any Republican or Democrat.
Dear God, no.
That,
No
that's
way.
that's the biggest point that I would like anybody to to take away from this entire conversation is that Republicans and Democrats are going to utilize this and utilize guns to fundraise. So the Democrats are going to come and we need gun control. Help support us. Give us donations so we can take guns away. The Republicans are going to come and say, well, we're going to need to save the guns. Give us money. It's all about the money. Okay. It's not about actually finding a solution. It's not about coming to the table and saying, hey, we have some serious problems that we need to address. And because no one, not one Republican and not one Democrat has come to the table to actually have these conversations and actually find some solutions, and they just keep kicking the can down the road. Now we're seeing those numbers go up.
So, on that, here's what's interesting. So they have that the Senate has 10 Republicans and 10 Democrats. It's supposed to be bipartisan, right? That's going to put this new gun control bill through. So here's what's on the table. But it's interesting because they're talking about this stuff, and I want to make this mark. It's June 15th, 2022. Here's what's on the table, but they haven't written this bill yet. Okay, there's 6 big things. Help states pass red flag laws. There's 19 states that have red flag laws. They want to help more get those. Okay. Number two, billions for mental health to help out mental health clinics and school safety. I like that one. I think that's great. Okay. The third one, the boyfriend loophole. So they can't get a gun if they're charged with domestic abuse. The fourth one, trafficking and straw purchasing. So the illegal sales of weapons to somebody that should not have a weapon, which I saw up in Two Rivers when I was up at the gun show up there. Fifth one, enhanced background checks between 18 and 21 years old. They're not going to do anything with age, just enhanced background checks from 18 to 21. And then they're going to clear up who has licenses to sell weapons. Those are the big six things that's on the table right now for the one that they're talking about in the Senate. Now, going back to what you just said, Jake, how much of this bullshit are they actually going to try to push through? Because this isn't written yet. This is all talk. So I want to see out of these six things, I'll address this weekly on what they're going to do.
And I'm going to keep bringing it back to the local communities or where this gets resolved. Thinking that the federal government can pass legislation of any sort and make an impact on this, it's simply not going to. What I like it to? Absolutely. No, nobody wants to see any of these situations happen. But I just don't feel that it is an actual resolve. We've passed gun legislation before, hasn't made a difference. And I can tell you right now, if more gun laws were the answer, Chicago and LA and New York would be the safest cities in the United States of America. And that's simply not the case. It's actually made things worse. So, and I hear the argument all the time gun laws only affect the law abiding citizens. And I think that is true. And
Yeah.
yeah. Why pass new bills? Why not fix the old? Yeah, you're right. If it's not working, why? So
I don't think the last gun bill that was passed was like 1998, if I'm
it's
not
been a
mistaken.
while.
It's been a while.
Actual bill, yeah, but there's been some stuff that's been pushed through by executive order, like the bump stocks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, so what did that bump stock ban solve? Nothing.
Well, they outlawed assault rifles. What was it from? Oh, geez, 94 to 2004. Is that right?
Yeah,
1994 to
there was
2000.
an
Yep.
actual assault weapons ban, a
Yeah.
full on assault weapons ban, and it solved nothing.
Yep.
So more gun laws isn't the answer. More guns isn't the answer. So what does that leave us?
I'm going
I'm
after
just
mental health,
exactly,
and I'm going after
exactly.
social media because it's out there. They have the answers on social media. They can write algorithms to go after teenage girls and teenage boys to keep them on there, and to go after those type of personalities. They can go after schizophrenics and crazy people. Yeah.
If there's one of the biggest things I struggle with the red flag laws is how that could be used to weaponize an individual and have their
Yeah.
guns taken away before due process. I understand the thought behind it. If someone's struggling, yeah, well, I get it. I get the rhyme and the reason. But I also see how that could be used as a weapon because I've been in that situation where the law's been used to preemptively take my weapons away when I did nothing at all. Nothing.
So speaking of weapons, I want to hear about one thing here. When you were in Chicago, how the hell did you get a knife pulled on you over a piece of pizza?
It actually wasn't a piece; it was an entire pizza.
Oh, it's a tire pizza.
It was
Oh
a whole
god,
pizza, whole pizza.
what happened?
We had,
I
we
don't
had
know the
5 minutes.
story.
All right. We got 10 minutes left. Here's the story for you. Here's the story.
We haven't even done breaking news yet. We're gonna run a little late. Go on. I want to hear the pizza.
So I fly into Chicago, coming back from Reno. Okay, and my flight from Chicago to Green Bay gets canceled, and I'm mad because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to be home. The ladies upstairs tell me that my luggage will be done on the carousel. Okay, fine. So I go down to the carousel. I exit TSA, the safe zone. I go down to the carousel. While I'm on the phone with the Hilton Hotel trying to get a hotel room, there's one hotel room left, and they wanted $600 for the night. $600. So now, while this lady's explaining to me it's $600 and all this other, I'm mad. I can't find the carousel. Turns out my luggage never even made it to the carousel. Okay. So then I have to go over to customer service, the baggage claim service or whatnot, and they tell me that I don't know why the ladies upstairs keep saying that your luggage is on the carousel when we hold it in the back. They got to stop doing that. I said, well, I need my luggage. I'm already back through TSA. I need that. It's got my phone charger, all my hygiene stuff. I need my baggage so I can go find a hotel room for the night. And she goes, well, that's going to take about 4 to 5 hours to find your bag. I was like, really?
That's
You've got to be kidding me. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. They gave me this little water jug that's got a little tube of toothpaste and some deodorant, a little hygiene thing to make it through the night. But I still have no cell phone. No phone charger. So I finally find a cheap hotel room because I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. It's 15 miles away, which wasn't thinking. 15 miles away in Wisconsin's 15 minutes down the road. But in Chicago, 15 miles is over an hour drive.
Yep.
So now my cab ride's $100 to get there.
That's awesome.
And I was like, you gotta be shitting me. I should have just gotten a more expensive hotel room and stayed closer because now it's costing me so much more.
Yep.
So I get to the hotel, and the hotel's rough. The hotel is rough. I mean,
They must have sold pizza. So get to the pizza.
Oh no! They don't. They didn't sell pizza. The Pizza Hut was right down the road, like 3 blocks down the road. And my phone was almost dead, so I shut my phone off and left it in the hotel room. And then walked to the Pizza Hut to get their Domino. I forgot which one it was. But and this is like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's late. So I'm walking back with my pizza, tired, exhausted, no shower, no hygiene stuff, no cell phone. And I'm walking through this little alley here to get back to the hotel room, and I hear a voice go, I think we should have that pizza. No. And tonight's not the night. No, it's not. He goes, I think we should. And all of a sudden he pulls out a knife. And it just so happened at that same exact time he pulled it out, a police officer drove by and flipped his lights. It was like perfect timing. I was like, oh. And so I'm standing with my pizza, angry because I just want pizza and a shower and to go to bed. And I can tell you right now, there was 3 of them. I'd fight for that pizza. He's stealing my pizza.
Yep.
And the poor police officer goes, I would just recommend not coming out in these parts of the woods at this time of night.
Right.
Gotcha, bud.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going back. Yeah,
I'm going to go back to the hotel room with my pizza, and thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for being Johnny on the spot there.
Maybe I want to ask Neil and Scott about the pizza at the Libertarian State Convention with me.
That's a whole another story.
All right. Just some breaking news. All right, we're going to plow through this stuff. All right, breaking news. UK is burning billions and billions of dollars of wasted pandemic gear. Okay, they're just burning it. They don't need it anymore, right? Interesting. On May 27th, the U.S. extended their tariff exemptions on medical products from China due to COVID. UK is burning all their shit. And here we are saying, all right, let's release the tariffs so we can buy more from China. I'm betting if somebody picked up the phone and called, they could get some pretty free stuff, maybe pay for shipping.
This whole thing is
what do you do?
You get to that point. So I've been running this campaign now for 17, 18 months, and I find myself regularly saying that the government can't be that stupid.
Yes.
And they keep raising that bar over and over again.
I know.
I'm like,
Kelly's late.
that wasn't a challenge. Okay, that wasn't a challenge. I,
I know. Yeah,
and
I know.
zero accountability. Nothing will happen.
I was astonished when I read that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, UK's burning their ship." And then, like the next news feed, I was like, "Wait a minute, why is the US doing that?" I thought that was interesting. Hey, really quick on pandemic, Special Olympics has dropped the vaccine rule because they were threatened by $27 million in fines. So they were
Nice.
saying that everybody needed to have their vaccination card, but
Yeah.
it's in Orlando, Florida, where Governor DeSantis is. Yeah, DeSantis said, "Nope, that's not happening. We're going to give you $27 million in fines if you keep this up," and they backed down.
Weird.
I know. Weird how that works, right? I know. Let's get into the next one. Inflation. I want to know what's going up. Well, we know everything, right?
That's everything.
Gas within a year,
Oh.
48.7%. These are week old data, too. So this is
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
even higher. Fuel oil is up 106%. You deliver propane.
Yeah.
It's going up. It's getting insane. Food, 10%. Electricity, 12%. New cars, 12.6%. Used cars, 16.1%. Rent, 15%. I have
All
something.
while all while Joe Biden brags about how wages have gone up by 2%.
That's awesome.
Come on.
Yeah.
I here's what I see. The 2022 election, the Democratic Party is just cruising for a bruising.
You know
They
what?
really are.
They truly are.
And now, here's what I can say. The Republicans are going to come in a great big wave. Okay? They're not going to have a supermajority. They will have a majority. And you're going to create another 2 years of a complete stalemate when the inflation is still going to climb, still
Yeah.
going to crawl. No one's going to do nothing. I'm a firm belief that we are probably on the brink of a full economic collapse here. Give it time.
Because
Just give it
because they
time.
want to let it fail so they can win even more. They're going to use us as collateral damage for their political agenda.
Yep,
I know.
absolutely.
I absolutely see it. Yep. When we talk about rent, we got to talk about this another night. But at least 238 federal lawmakers are also landlords, and 37 senators own between 13 and 48 million dollars in either insurance or real estate sector. When you have that amount of money and that many people in landlords, you are not going to get any legislation or any help in your rent. Rent's going to keep climbing up.
Nope.
Keep an eye on trailer parks. Go ahead
Mm,
and do the research behind trailers, which are shooting up in price, and so is rent. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what's
I
scary.
and then as soon as you're into those trailer parks, they jack up the rent on that lot, and most of the people within the trailer parks are on fixed incomes. And you couple that with the massive inflation that we're seeing, you are creating a lot of homeless people.
You are.
Okay. And now, the cherry on top. Okay. I'm having some disgruntled issues right now here with Door County. I was actually offered to have there's a little resort down the road from where I am right now that has little cabins, that behind that there that people stayed in, so on and so forth. Well, I think they're trying to build a gas station, so they want to tear these cabins down, but they wanted to actually donate these cabins. But because they are less than 700 square feet, Door County does not allow them to be a livable dwelling. So you would rather have people homeless than let them live in a space that is less than 700 feet.
Well, that's interesting because how does like Madison just started up their little tiny homeless shelters, and those
Mhm.
things are 70 square feet. I mean, these things are
Tiny
tiny.
homes. Yeah, tiny
Yeah.
homes.
So how do they get by with it? But yeah, you can't. Where's your loophole?
I'm thinking it's the local legislation actually. I think this is a Door County specific legislation.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it's something to do with statewide stuff, but it blew my mind because I'm trying to get housing set up here on my farm for veterans because I've run across three veterans now that are actually looking for an actual place to stay. I mean, they're like homeless, okay, and they want to come and join, take, be part of the farm. If I
So,
had some place for them to stay, they could come, they could get food, they can get their entire lives back in order.
so
But Door County doesn't allow tiny homes.
can you put a door between them to connect them to add up your square footage, or an awning over the front?
I'm just gonna put them up.
Even better.
Fight
Even
me
better.
in court. I want to hear you argue against me trying to house homeless veterans. Please,
Right.
please
All right.
argue that.
Put me on
Please
the
argue
news.
that.
Yep.
I'll call every news agencies and I want to hear you argue that.
Yep.
Tell me how I'm bad. Please
Yep.
tell me. I'll be a bad boy.
Breaking news. Shrinkflation because size matters. All right. Kleenex, we're going from 65 to 60 tissues. Chobani, 5.3 to 4.5 ounces. Nestle, 100 grams to 90 grams. Cottonelle, your toilet paper is getting smaller. You're going from 340 sheets to 312 sheets. Fritos, Pepsi, Gatorade, Doritos, soap, snack bar, Domino's Pizza, cheese. Everything is getting smaller. Their prices are staying about the same, but everything is getting smaller, and they're saving millions on actually doing this.
Now, is that being done to combat inflation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, I got to do the research into this. Like Dollar General has said, I want a 25% increase across the board. Cool. They got that because of inflation. So they put that out there. But yet they're taking all that excess money and they're doing stock buybacks. So I want to find out more companies besides Dollar General that are doing that, because all they're doing is just robbing the consumers to pad their own pockets.
It's very, very important to be a smart consumer. Okay. And I preach this all the time. Buy local, buy local, buy local. If you need something, okay, it's not going to come as fast. Okay. Trust me. I mean, I order parts all the time. When I can't get it locally, I get to use Amazon because I've got need tractor parts, and it gets here in a couple of days. If we had the time, we would go through the local guy, have him order through there, and help support local businesses. That's the way it should be done. We need to start doing more and more of that. And I'm just as guilty. The I need it. I need it now. That's we have to focus more on supporting the local. These big chain stores, even Dollar General, that's a national corporation. Guess what? Start supporting local. Your local shops, your local farmers, things will turn around.
100% agree, buddy, including you. Breaking news. We got election fraud in Pennsylvania. Can you believe that?
No way.
I know, it's weird. Okay, here's a story. There's a former congressman who pled guilty to election fraud charges. Okay,
Ooh.
Michael Ozzie Myers. He's 79. He's in Philadelphia. Okay, he pleaded guilty conspiracy to deprive voters of civil rights, bribery, obstruction of justice, falsification of voting records, and conspiracy of illegal votes. Blah 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 blah. It goes on. What years did he do this? He did it for Democratic candidates in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. Okay, he was actually bribing judges to not only to help do some of this stuff, but also to falsify information, fraudulent votes on voting machines, called ringing up votes. This is one instance that's happening. Okay, 3,000 or 2,000 Mules has came out. Okay, I've watched that. I don't know how much is true behind it, but I'm trying to find out how much litigation and lawsuits are after that. That's what's
Yeah.
important, because if this movie did point out some of that stuff, it's interesting. Here, this person is pleading guilty to this. That's happening all over the United States. That's scary because that's taking away from our civil rights, right? Our voting, our most important one.
And I sat up that one day in the Oconto County Constitution Party, and great group of people, absolutely love them. And one of their goals is to actually get Oconto County to move back to actual paper ballots with watermarks and all the jazz, and make sure that your vote is secure. Okay, and I get it. I absolutely get it. Having a secured election is critical. But what's just as critical is that the government is this damn big, okay? So that it doesn't affect your life. You can't have one without the other. They have to be equally important, okay? The reason why election integrity matters so much is because the government affects our lives so much. We're not living free. We have to reduce the size of the government. And if they decide to steal an election, guess what? It doesn't affect your life because they're not doing anything to affect your life. We're working within our communities. Now, when I was up in O'Connell and they were talking about this, they spent an hour and a half before I had to leave and take care of a pregnant goat, which is a whole nother conversation. But we spent an hour and a half talking about power, how to gain power, how to maintain power, and how to grow power within the Republican Party so that they can control the election and election integrity. Okay? That entire time for me was wasted. Okay? Instead of talking about power, how to maintain power, how about you actually draft a piece of legislation, a plan of action to gain community support, and present it to the county board? You could make actual change. You could actually do something instead of continuing to fight and scheme on how to gain and maintain power. But this is what happens when you have that two-party system is you first have to be in power in order to do anything. So your first objective in a two-party system is to get power. And it is cutthroat. It is cutthroat to the point to where you're spending $15,000 to get candidates kicked off the ballot. Cutthroat. This is bare knuckles politics. This isn't how it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be the battle of ideas. This is supposed to be the best ideas win and the country continues to move forward. That is progress. We've stopped progress because of the battle. We've stopped progress because we no longer listen. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry for my rant.
No, 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 you're good. You're exactly right because look at the lame duck. You were talking about the lame duck that's coming up.
Yeah.
When the Republicans win, because they're
Yep.
going to,
Yep.
there's going to be a 2-year hiatus of lame duck.
Joe
That's what's
Biden.
happening.
Joe Biden's going to veto every single thing they throw at him.
We've been,
Nothing's going to get done.
yeah,
So okay, so we have a big red wave. Woo! Now what? Now
nothing,
what?
nothing.
Nothing.
Same
So
thing
then
that
that
happened
brings.
here in Wisconsin.
Yep. Yep.
You're
We're just going to keep spinning our wheels. Okay, if we are going to change anything whatsoever in this country, it will never ever come from Republicans or Democrats. It will come from independents. It'll come from third parties. But we are the only ones that want to actually sit down, listen to all views, even if I disagree with it. If I disagree with your view, we specifically say uh, principles over politics for a reason. I'm here to defend the Constitution of the United States. So if your views fall within the Constitution of the United States, I'm going to defend them whether I agree with them or I disagree with them. I am following the Constitution of the United States. I'm placing my hand on that Bible and I am taking an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. If we don't have elected individuals that can do that, they do not deserve to be there. And what we see right now, over and over and over again, is all of our elected bodies are packed tight with self interested individuals that have been bought by corporations, period.
follow the money.
There it is. And that's why the country's broken.
Oh, oh, geez. How much
Uh-oh.
was it? I know. I think I actually wrote it down here earlier. We were talking about gun stuff, and Ron Johnson popped into my head, and I said, "Hey, I wonder what Ron Johnson's going to vote on that." And I looked into it. Oh, here it is. He has gotten from the NRA almost $1.3 million.
Wow.
Yep. NRA is investigated right now for $35 million illegal campaign contributions to 6 senators.
Not
They've used
shocked.
shell. Oh yeah, there's not a shocker, right? Used shell corporations to improperly aid them. Yeah. So, anyways, that's where my mind went with some of that. Hey, let's only do a couple more breaking news. I had a lot more, but let's just finish her up here.
Perfect.
Cool. So there's this Montana school superintendent of public instruction. She illegally passed a school bus while kids were boarding. So she's the superintendent of schools. She illegally passed a bus. You know how the stop signs come out, they flash.
Yeah.
I don't know what I didn't know how to react to this. I had
100.
that.
All right.
Here, here's another one to keep you more. The citation can be removed from her driving record if she has no traffic violations for 2 months. The school superintendent does not know to not pass a school bus when the flashing stop lights are out there, and it can get taken off her license in 2 months.
So I'm going to steal a quote from Don himself, from the Don. Don
Go ahead.
from Don the T. You're fired.
Right.
That's it. Come on.
Yeah.
That it's a busload of kids.
Two more.
Come on,
Pat
man.
Fallon. Pat Fallon. He made 122 late transaction reports. Okay, so this is in a stock trading. He's a new dude, Texas congressman down there.
Yeah.
And yep, so he made all these stock trades. $9 million to $21 million is what he traded. He got a $600 fine. $600. He made between 9 and 21 million. He's not going to disclose it. $600. How is he going to live when he gets fined $600?
Here's what I could tell you as your congressman. As your congressman, I will never make any shady stock trades because I ain't got no money to make stock trades. Real simple. $600 in a fine. That's the equivalent of Hillary Clinton's $8,000 fine or whatever it was for that Steele dossier. This isn't. That's a joke.
Yep.
This is what when I talk about politicians and people not being held accountable. That's it, right there.
You can actually get fined more than $600 on your taxes a year if you don't file them in time or if you're late on paying them or something like that. Yeah,
Those are our rules. That's not their rules.
well, they made the rules. Isn't that
That's
fucked
why.
up? Messed up.
Oops.
I know, right?
We're kicked off of Facebook first time.
Oh no! Stop trading on congressional knowledge. The StockK, STOCK. Stop trading on congressional knowledge. That is out there. They passed that they're supposed to be doing this stuff, and they're not following their own rules. They don't care. Why would you care when you make $9 to $21 million? They care about a $600 fine. Nobody cares about that.
There's no accountability across the board. We've got all these laws that are set up to be able to protect the American people, and we continue to elect individuals that refuse to stand up and say enough. Okay. Now, as being a lone libertarian in Congress, am I going to be able to legislate a whole bunch of stuff? No. But I can definitely get you more details on the crooks that are there. You shed a whole lot of light on that. I can definitely stand in the way. Okay. Joe Manchin is a perfect example of how powerful one person is standing in the way. I can be that guy. I'll be that guy.
And Wisconsin's going to swing the other way before too long. Republicans are burning bridges. Democrats are burning bridges. But yeah, we've been in lame duck for almost 4 years.
I'm still of full belief that the Republicans and Democrats work together. The whole battle of them fighting each other is all for show, in order to keep the facade up that they're actually working for us. They're not. Okay, that's why we call them Republicrats. They are working together. When the cameras aren't on, guess what? They're out to lunch with each other. Turn the cameras on, they're fighting with each other. It's all a joke. Okay, until we get real people into office, the people that have had to struggle just the same as all of our neighbors have had to struggle, nothing's going to change. Our government was never intended to have being a politician was never meant to be a career. That was meant to be a service to your country. Just period.
They passed that. They passed that. They're
I know.
yeah,
I
just
get it.
disgusting.
But there's a lot of good people that are running other than just myself. Good, honest people that have really struggled with what our government has done. And they are going to struggle to get noticed just the same.
Yep.
We have to stand together. We, the people, will prevail. Our government may crash, but when we start work, so think of it. If tomorrow morning we wake up and the entire government and our whole dollar fails and the entire economy crashes, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to fly into a full anarchy where buildings are burning? And I don't think so. I think you're going to see people coming together. You're going to see people that have an abundance of food sharing with their neighbors. You're going to start to see things work backwards. You're going to see a lot more people starting to garden. Okay, you're going to see people working together within communities as soon as the government is removed. Okay, we are social individuals. We can make this happen. The government's not the resolve. The government is the problem. Get rid of the government. Let people live free within their communities, make their own decisions for their schools, for their communities, how they want to live, whether it's the LGBTQ community, whether it's the Christian community, whether it's the Muslim community. Stop hurting people. Don't take their things. Live free. Love thy neighbor.
You know, with the big R word that's been thrown around a lot lately, if it does crash, we're not done.
No,
We're not done.
no.
The government's not. People will still get paychecks. It's going to continue. It's just going to change a little bit. That's all.
Yep.
One more, buddy. One more.
One more.
Breaking news. Russia pumping more oil now, of course, since before the war. And now they're going to open up more wells in June to handle the extra supply that people are buying
Yeah.
from them.
Those wells are in Ukraine.
It goes through Ukraine.
Yeah.
Their pipelines go through it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, record profits. I think I've and don't quote me. I want to say 93 billion. So I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
I think I heard this on the radio on the way home. So I don't know the exact number, but Russia has actually seen record profits for their oil.
Yep. Yep.
All these sanctions didn't affect them one bit.
They
Doing
made
better.
more. They're making more money now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what happens? We embargo. Not we. Joe Biden embargoed Russia. We're suffering. They're making more money. They don't give a crap. We're not contacting Venezuela or Iran or anything else to try to pick up that influx. We're suffering.
I believe he did reach out to Venezuela and to OPEC.
Well,
Pump
OPEC
more.
he did.
Yep.
OPEC he did. Yep. I
I,
don't know
I
about
thought he went.
Venezuela.
I thought he went down to try to schmooze Venezuela as well. I'll look
Maybe he
into
sent
that.
Kamala. Maybe he sent Kamala.
Maybe.
I will research that one.
I think Venezuela. I think he reached out to Venezuela to pump some more as well, because heaven forbid if we do that here in America.
Anybody know in the chats? I've been paying attention to the chats.
Anyone in the chats?
Well, I'm sure somebody will know. I'll find out. That's a good thing for me to research.
Yeah.
I had more, buddy, but man, there was so much catching up. It's been a while.
It has been a while. And I tell you what, it's real good to be back.
Yeah.
And we will be live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can follow us here at Chasing Liberty for Jake on Facebook. You can also follow us on YouTube. And where else are we located on?
Oh, geez. The Looking Forward Facebook page, which is the old Just Heisel for Governor. There's like 4 or 5 social medias everywhere.
That's
I
good.
mean, if you're
We're
seeing
going to
this
get,
somewhere,
yeah. Come back and follow us next week. We'll have some good stuff, some more breaking news, and some more highlights of the campaign events that we got rolling. I do want to say a special thank you to the entire legal team that stepped up to help me for this. Angela McCardle, Nicholas Flatley, and all of the all the paralegals that put that together for my signatures. You guys are rock stars. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, and I'm really excited for this campaign. We have some extraordinary individuals on this team that are very, very motivated and highly skilled. And how blessed am I to be able to have a crew like this? I really, really am. So I thank you all. I love you all. And we will definitely see you all next week.
and I'm just looking at it right now. This is on Telegram for Looking Forward. We got Chasing Liberty with Jake on YouTube. We got Looking Forward on YouTube. We got Looking Forward on Facebook. We've got Jess Heisel on Twitter. We've got Win Network on Twitch. And we're getting more next week. We'll put this up on websites too. You can live stream there. Um, if you have ideas, shoot them out to you. I'm an independent, a libertarian, having a conversation, just trying to make a damn difference because everybody's disgusted with what's going on. We're tired of fighting amongst ourselves. Uh, Just talk about it. You're not going to be able to talk with everybody. Absolutely not. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. But let's at least have conversations. So,
One of the most annoying things that I hear from politicians right now is those same old battle cries. We've got to beat the Republicans or we've got to beat the Democrats. How about piss off? Okay, that is not a
how about help the
solution.
people? I know. I know. That's how disgusted everybody is, Jake. Everybody is disgusted in that exact same thing. Help the people. But
Yep.
yet they aren't. They only care about their own power and their own money. So there's a change coming. I see it.
And we're here for it. In fact, we'll lead the way.
Good luck to you, buddy. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel.
Same time, same channel with some same great topics.
Different topics.
Different topics. Same great conversation. I'm starting to hit that wall of exhaustion. That 3:30 wake up is sneaks up on a guy.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Jake.
Thank you, Jess. And you all have a great night.
Take care.